The knock came just before sunrise, 3 slow, deliberate taps that cut through the fragile quiet of the small second-floor apartment in Astoria, Queens, New York, like the opening notes of a warning nobody asked for. Daniel Carter froze mid-pour, the plastic half-gallon of 2% milk suspended over Lily's favorite cereal bowl, the one with the chipped rim and the long-faded image of Chase from Paw Patrol smiling up at him. A single white drop fell, then another, tapping softly against the dry Cheerios like tiny accusations. His heart slammed against his ribs. No one knocked politely at 5:47 a.m. on 30th Avenue unless it was the landlord with another red-stamped eviction warning, NYPD following up on a noise complaint from downstairs, or debt collectors who had finally graduated from phone calls to in-person intimidation. Rent was 68 days overdue. The super had taped 3 final notice, action required, sheets to the door in the last 5 weeks. His prepaid Verizon burner buzzed with blocked numbers at all hours. After pulling yet another 16-hour night shift, Daniel felt like he was held together by coffee, muscle memory, and the fierce, quiet love that kept him moving for his daughter. He set the carton down without a clink, glanced toward the half-open bedroom door. Lily, 6 years old and small for her age, lay curled on her side of the shared full-size mattress pushed against the wall, one thin arm wrapped protectively around her stuffed rabbit, its left ear resewn years ago with mismatched blue thread from a dollar store kit. Her breathing was slow, even, trusting. Daniel padded barefoot across the cold, worn linoleum, avoiding the loose board near the kitchen that always groaned under weight, and reached the front door. Through the cloudy peephole, a black Cadillac Escalade idled at the curb, exhaust curling white in the chilly pre-dawn October air. Streetlights still burned orange along the block of brick walk-ups, 24-hour bodegas with pull-down gates, and double-parked delivery vans. A man stood on the narrow stoop, late 30s, charcoal suit tailored sharp, leather portfolio tucked under one arm, posture suggesting ex-Marine or high-end private security. Behind him, a silver Mercedes S-Class glided to a smooth stop. The rear door opened and a woman stepped out, mid-40s, dark hair swept into a sleek low bun, charcoal cashmere overcoat over a cream silk blouse, red-soled Louboutins clicking softly on the cracked sidewalk. She carried no purse, no phone in hand, just calm, unhurried authority that seemed to bend the air around her. Daniel's mouth went dry. He slid the chain off and cracked the door 6 inches. "Daniel Carter," the man asked, voice low, measured, no aggression. A single nod. The woman stepped forward into the weak yellow porch light. "Mr. Carter, I'm Olivia Grant, CEO of Vanguard Dynamics. This is Marcus Hale, my head of global security. We need 10 to 15 minutes of your time. I promise, we come in peace and mean no trouble." Vanguard Dynamics. The 60-story glass and steel monolith in Midtown Manhattan where Daniel worked graveyard security, patrolling silent marble corridors after hours, checking biometric locks on server rooms, watching banks of monitors while the city outside pulsed with taxis and sirens. The company whose high-frequency trading algorithms and encrypted client data vaults moved tens of billions daily across global markets. He opened the door wider and stepped aside. They entered without comment on the peeling wallpaper in the hallway, the faint smell of last night's sesame chicken from Golden Walk downstairs, the single bare 60-watt bulb swaying overhead. They stood respectfully in the cramped living room. No one tried the sagging thrift store couch covered with a faded throw blanket. Toys dotted the floor, a half-built Lego fire truck, scattered crayons, a child's drawing taped crookedly to the fridge, 2 stick figures, a rabbit, and a giant yellow sun smiling over a house. Olivia spoke first, voice steady but warm. "At 2:17 a.m. last night you intercepted an unauthorized access attempt at the East Service entrance, executive level, 60th floor. 2 individuals wearing counterfeit building maintenance uniforms. You did not trigger the silent alarm from the control room 50 yards away. You did not radio backup while remaining behind cover. You closed the distance yourself, maintained a calm 3-meter separation, requested current authorization codes, cross-verified in real time against the system log on your tablet, and informed them, politely but firmly, that no maintenance ticket existed for that hour. They withdrew without escalation or force." Daniel shifted his weight, uncomfortable under the attention. "It's what we're trained to do when the situation allows it." Olivia's eyes held his without blinking. "The training manual says, observe, document, report." Most officers would have logged the attempt after the individuals left or called it in from the safety of the control room. You chose direct, de-escalatory intervention. You protected proprietary trading algorithms, active merger intelligence, and high-net-worth client financial data collectively valued north of $45 billion, without adrenaline-fueled drama, without seeking recognition, without needing the incident captured for your next quarterly review. That is not procedure. That is character forged in places most executives never see. Marcus extended the slim black leather folder. Daniel took it, fingers still bearing faint scars from years of warehouse loading docks and delivery routes before the security job. Inside, high-resolution surveillance stills from multiple angles, time-stamped access logs, redacted executive summary. And then, the offer letter printed on heavy cream bond with the Vanguard Dynamics embossed watermark. Position, Director, Employee Integrity and Organizational Culture Initiatives. Reports directly to the Office of the CEO. Schedule, day shift, 7:30 to 16:30, Monday through Friday. Base salary, $185,000 per annum plus performance bonus up to 40%. Benefits package. Comprehensive family medical, dental, vision, Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, no waiting period, dependents fully covered. 401k retirement plan with immediate 6% employer match. Group life insurance, 2 times base salary, plus long-term disability coverage. Dependent education stipend, $15,000 per year per child, tuition, books, tutoring, extracurricular activities. Company leased vehicle, midsize SUV or sedan of choice, or $1,200 monthly commuting/parking stipend. Optional housing subsidy, up to $3,500 per month if relocating closer to Midtown Manhattan. Daniel stared at the figures until they blurred. His current net pay, after night shift differential, sporadic overtime, union dues, and taxes, was roughly $4,600 to $4,900 a month when the schedule cooperated. This offer was transformational. Winter boots for Lily without holes in the soles. A real pediatrician checkup without choosing between copays and groceries. A separate bedroom someday. Actual sleep instead of 4-hour naps interrupted by nightmares about bills. He looked up, voice rough from exhaustion and disbelief. You have people who graduated Wharton, Stanford, Harvard Law. People with 20 years climbing the corporate ladder. Why a 32-year-old night shift security officer from Queens? Olivia's gaze softened noticeably. Because at 11:42 p.m. the same night, you passed my office on the executive floor. I had been there since 5:15 a.m. the previous day, Asia-Pacific markets crashing overnight, internal audit raising serious red flags on 3 major transactions, internal projections showing 7-figure losses across 4 divisions. I was surviving on black espresso and sheer willpower. You knocked once, very gently. When I looked up, irritated at the interruption, you said, "Ma'am, I noticed you've been here a very long time. There's chilled water with fresh lemon slices in the break room refrigerator on floor 58. Long nights are harder without staying hydrated." Then you turned and continued your patrol. No lingering. No attempt to network or impress. Just simple, uncalculated human decency toward another person who looked like they were barely holding on. Daniel remembered her face now, the blue-white glow of 8 monitors reflecting off tired eyes, shoulders rigid with strain, the look of someone carrying thousands of jobs on her back. He hadn't recognized the CEO of Vanguard Dynamics. He'd just seen another exhausted human being who looked as worn down as he felt every single day. I didn't come here only because you stopped a major security breach, Olivia continued quietly. I came because of the men who, at the end of a 16-hour graveyard shift, still had enough awareness and kindness left to notice someone else drowning and throw them the smallest, most human lifeline. Vanguard has endless compliance policies, mandatory ethics training modules, annual certifications. What we desperately lack, and what I intend to build, is a living culture where integrity is instinctive, automatic, before anyone has to write it into a handbook. I want you to lead that transformation. Daniel glanced toward the bedroom door again. Lily would wake in about 15 minutes, hungry, asking for the good milk, the one he shook so the cream didn't float on top, trusting him to make the morning feel safe and warm. He met Olivia's eyes. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's my entire world. If I take this and I can't keep up, if I fail, if I embarrass the company or myself, then we will support you through every step of the learning curve, she said without a second's hesitation. But I have personally reviewed your performance footage across the last 18 months. You don't panic under pressure. You don't cut corners when no one is watching. You don't quit when things get hard. That is the only qualification that matters to me. He exhaled slowly, the weight of years shifting slightly. Okay. He signed the offer letter with the pen Marcus quietly provided. The first 8 weeks felt like stepping into a parallel universe with stronger gravity. Day 1, new employee badge with gold trim and full executive floor access. Orientation in a sun-filled conference room on the 62nd floor with artisanal pour-over coffee, fresh fruit platters, and a welcome binder thicker than a New York City phone book. Colleagues in bespoke Tom Ford suits and Loro Piana cashmere glanced at his still calloused hands, the faint outline of the old security uniform on his best navy blazer from Macy's clearance. Whispers trailed him through the executive cafeteria on floor 45, they pulled a night shift guard into a director-level role. During a leadership sync he wasn't meant to overhear, a senior EVP asked Olivia point-blank, "Are we now prioritizing blue-collar street experience over Ivy League pedigrees and decades in the C-suite pipeline?" Olivia's answer was calm, unyielding steel, yes. True merit isn't always printed on a diploma or a resume. If that fundamental principle makes anyone uncomfortable, the elevators are clearly marked and operate in both directions. Daniel heard it through the cracked conference room door. It burned. He turned the burn into fuel. Olivia gave him complete autonomy, redesigned the entire global employee integrity and ethics program from scratch. No dense PowerPoint deck stuffed with bullet points. No impenetrable legalese modules. Stories, raw, real, lived stories delivered in small groups. He started with cohorts of 30 in the state-of-the-art training theater on floor 32, equipped with tiered seating and 4K screens. He told them about the freezing December night 3 years earlier when, working a second job unloading freight trucks in Hunts Point, Bronx, he discovered a canvas duffel containing $180,000 in cash left behind a pallet. He tracked the small business owner through 4 phone calls at 3 a.m. and returned every single dollar untouched. He told them about refusing extra compensation from a shady courier client who wanted packages rerouted off the books when Lily's albuterol inhaler was down to its last few puffs and the corner pharmacy demanded cash up front, no cards, no insurance. He told them, voice steady, no self-pity, about nights choosing between Con Edison bills and pediatrician copays for Lily's asthma, and always choosing the doctor, even when the apartment lights went dark and the heat shut off for days at a time. Silence followed each story. Not awkward. Reverent. People saw fragments of their own hidden struggles mirrored back at them. After sessions, lines formed in the hallway outside. A 28-year-old financial analyst admitted she had once backdated vendor invoices under direct manager pressure. Daniel's words gave her the courage to self-report to the compliance hotline the next morning. A 52-year-old operations VP confessed he had ignored a minor OSHA safety violation to meet aggressive quarter-end targets. Now he was retroactively correcting the record and retraining his entire team. Session demand exploded. Departments began fighting over calendar slots. HR started referring employees facing personal or ethical crises to Daniel's integrity circles, the same way they referred people to the Employee Assistance Program for mental health support. Then the call came at 2:14 p.m. on a Tuesday. PS 122, Lily's elementary school on 21st Street. She was involved in a physical altercation during recess, the assistant principal said. We need a parent or guardian here as soon as possible. Daniel left Midtown in an Uber Black, the company card now in his wallet, arrived in Astoria in 21 minutes, still wearing his company blazer. Lily sat on a small bench outside the principal's office, knees pulled tight to her chest, eyes red but chin set in that stubborn way she had inherited from him. He knelt in front of her. Hey, sunshine. Tell Daddy what happened. She stared at the floor for a long moment, then whispered, they laughed at my sneakers. Said they look like they came from the garbage can. Said you work nights because we're broke. Said I'm poor and my clothes smell funny. Her sneakers, once bright turquoise from the Target on Northern Boulevard, now faded to dull gray, toes splitting open at the seams, had carried her through 2 brutal New York winters, countless playground chases, and every adventure walk, when he couldn't afford MetroCard fares. Daniel felt something deep inside his chest fracture like thin ice. He took both her small hands in his larger, rough ones. Listen to me very carefully, Lily Grace Carter. We are not poor. Poor is when you give up fighting. We never give up. We have each other. That is worth more than every pair of shiny sneakers in all of Manhattan. We are strong. We are warriors. And warriors don't need fancy things to be brave. That evening he told the exact same story in his next training session, no names changed, no drama embellished. Just the plain, unvarnished truth: dignity lives in your spine, not your bank account. Real worth isn't measured by what strangers see on your feet or your jacket. Respect is earned in the quiet moments when no one is filming or watching. The room went completely still. A woman in the second row started crying quietly. She didn't try to hide it. Afterward, a senior director approached Daniel in the corridor. "My father cleaned office buildings in downtown Brooklyn for 37 years. Never once complained. You just reminded me why I try every single day to be a better leader than the ones he had to work for." The program became a quiet phenomenon inside Vanguard Dynamics. Olivia gave Daniel a corner office on the 58th floor with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the East River and the blinking lights of the Queensboro Bridge, a dedicated team of 4 specialists, and a 7-figure annual operating budget. 3 months later, Olivia called him into her office at 7:45 a.m. Door closed. Blinds lowered. No small talk. She turned her 85-inch wall-mounted screen. Internal security and access logs glowed in warning amber and red. An internal user credential had temporarily escalated privileges the night of the breach, enough to disable eStore motion sensors and grant silent entry without immediate alert. The user account belonged to Mark Ellis, 39, senior risk and compliance analyst based in the New York office. Regular attendee of Daniel's last 6 integrity training sessions. Married, father of a 7-year-old daughter diagnosed with stage 3 neuroblastoma 18 months earlier. Outstanding medical debt, $2.8 million and climbing. A burner Proton Mail address had offered him $750,000 in untraceable cryptocurrency for, one-time, low-risk access facilitation. Daniel felt the air leave the room. He requested, and received, permission to speak with Mark privately before corporate security, legal counsel, and external authorities were formally notified. In a small, windowless 10 by 10 conference room on floor 41, Mark sat hunched over the polished table, face ashen, hands trembling. "I didn't think anyone would die," he whispered. "It was just data. My daughter, she needs proton beam therapy at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Insurance stopped covering after the initial rounds. The hospital is demanding another $1.2 million upfront. Debt collectors call my wife at her teaching job. They show up at our house in Westchester at dinner time. They said it was victimless. I was so exhausted from watching my little girl suffer every day. I believed them." Daniel sat across from him. A long silence stretched between them. "I've been exhausted too," Daniel said finally. "Nights counting quarters for a gallon of milk. Nights praying the heat stayed on until Lily woke up. Nights wondering if I could keep going one more day. But I never sold out people who trusted me. Never sold out the company that gave me a paycheck. Never sold out the future I'm trying to build for my daughter." Mark broke down sobbing into his folded arms. Daniel didn't offer instant absolution. But he understood the crushing gravity of a parent's desperation. He went straight to Olivia. Advocated fiercely, full cooperation, truthful testimony, and entry into a deferred prosecution agreement in exchange for immediate launch of the Vanguard Employee Hardship and Resilience Fund. Zero-interest medical emergency loans up to $100,000. Confidential debt restructuring partnerships with nonprofit credit counselors. One-time grants up to $50,000 for catastrophic illness or family emergencies. Strict confidentiality. No impact whatsoever on performance reviews, bonuses, or promotion eligibility for employees who use the fund. No stigma attached. The board approved the program in 36 hours. Mark signed the cooperation agreement the following week. For 6 fragile weeks, life felt almost stable. Then the envelope arrived. Plain white number 10 business envelope. No stamp. No return address. Slipped under the apartment door sometime between 2:30 and 4 a.m. Inside, single sheet of plain paper, laser printed in stark 12-point Arial. Phase 1 failed because of you. We are patient. We are precise. Lily dismisses from PS 122 at 15:15. Red Hello Kitty backpack with silver unicorn patch on left strap. Yellow hair clip on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We see her. We see you. Daniel's blood turned to ice water. He installed 2 heavy-duty deadbolts and a Ring doorbell camera with motion floodlights that same night. Varied every route to and from school. Changed pickup times by random 15-minute increments. Slept no more than 4 hours at a stretch, Louisville Slugger baseball bat leaning against the nightstand within easy reach.
Olivia immediately retained a top-tier external investigations firm, former FBI cyber division specialists, private intelligence contractors with ex-CIA backgrounds. Within 10 days the larger picture emerged, not amateur thieves or opportunistic ransomware groups. A Tier 1 state-sponsored advanced persistent threat collective executing a multi-year, multi-target corporate espionage and market manipulation campaign across 7 major U.S. financial technology institutions. Vanguard was target number 4 in the sequence. Daniel's single act of calm, protocol plus vigilance had forced a 6 to 9 month delay in their operational timeline. Now they wanted payback, or leverage to ensure his permanent silence. A matte gray 2024 Toyota Camry appeared outside PS 122 3 consecutive school afternoons. Parked in the same spot on 21st Street between 34th Avenue and 35th Avenue. Engine off. Windows tinted blackout dark. Driver never exited the vehicle. Daniel began picking Lily up 30 minutes early every day. Turned it into Special Daddy Adventures, Astoria Park Playground one afternoon, the Museum of the Moving Image the next, Flushing Meadows Corona Park Carousel on weekends. She thought it was the best month of her life. He knew it was protective layering. One crisp Saturday in late October, after Lily's school fall musical, cast as the lead sunflower in the second-grade production, center stage under bright gymnasium lights, arms wide, smiling so wide her dimples flashed, he walked her home through the golden afternoon light of Queens. She skipped ahead in her new white Keds sneakers, purchased with his first quarterly performance bonus, simple, sturdy, no holes, no playground teasing. "Did I shine the brightest, Daddy?" she asked, spinning in a circle on the sidewalk. "Like the whole sun, baby girl," he answered, throat thick with love and a fear he refused to let show. He glanced over his shoulder. No gray Camry in sight. But the sensation of unseen eyes never left him. That night, while Lily slept soundly with her rabbit tucked under her chin, Daniel stood at the living room window overlooking 30th Avenue, delivery scooters zipping past, neon bodega signs flickering red and green, normal New York life continuing oblivious. He thought of the 3 taps at dawn that had rewritten his entire existence. Not with lottery luck or inheritance. With mirrors. With tests. With proof that small, stubborn, right choices made in darkness can ripple outward and shake institutions far bigger than any single person. The next morning, Monday, he walked onto the main auditorium stage for the company-wide quarterly all-hands meeting. Over 1,400 employees packed the room in Midtown, another 2,000 watching live stream from satellite offices in Chicago, San Francisco, Austin, Boston, and London. No slides. No podium. Just him, a handheld microphone, and 800 pairs of attentive eyes. He spoke about fear, not as the enemy to be defeated, but as the forge that tempers real courage. About nights when every human instinct screams to take the easy path, accept the bribe, look the other way, compromise just this once to make the pain stop. About the precise moment you realize doing the right thing will cost you money, sleep, safety, maybe even peace, and you pay the price anyway. Then, voice calm, clear, carrying to every corner. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is carrying the fear heavy in your chest and still taking the next step forward. For your family who needs you whole and honest. For strangers who will never know what you sacrificed in the dark. For the 6-year-old girl who watches, quietly, carefully, how her father stands when the world tries its hardest to bend him. The auditorium went silent for 5 full seconds. Then applause started, slow at first, then building, then thundering. People rose to their feet. Not because protocol demanded it. Because it was earned. Afterward the line stretched down 2 corridors and around the corner to the elevators. Employees waited 40 minutes to speak with him. A 31-year-old software engineer from the blockchain security team admitted she had been quietly approached with a 6-figure cryptocurrency bribe to insert a subtle backdoor in production code, and had refused because Daniel's stories made me remember who I want to be when I pick up my daughter from after school every night. Olivia stood at the back of the room, arms folded, watching quietly. A single tear escaped before she brushed it away with the back of her hand. Daniel walked out of Vanguard Tower into the sharp Manhattan morning light, coffee carts steaming on every corner, yellow cabs honking, the city breathing. The threat had not vanished. The gray Camry might reappear tomorrow afternoon. Another envelope might slide under the door tonight. But something unbreakable had taken root inside him. He was no longer merely a single father from Astoria trying to survive day to day. He was a guardian of something far larger. Quiet decency in a corporate world that often rewards shortcuts and silence. Unbending integrity when bending would be so much easier and profitable. The stubborn, old American belief that character still counts, even when it costs you sleep, safety, and peace of mind. 3 taps at dawn had started everything. Every deliberate, hard-won choice since had echoed those taps. And somewhere in the shadows, the hunters were slowly learning a truth they had never anticipated. Some men cannot be purchased. Some fathers cannot be intimidated into silence. Some stories do not end quietly. They keep growing. One steady, unyielding step at a time.